My family ditched my 18-year-old daughter in a dangerous hotspot without her ID. My family ditched my 18-year-old daughter in a dangerous hotspot without her ID. She was totally freaking out, my nephew laughed, elbowing his sister. Yeah, you should have seen her face, she giggled. I did not yell, I did not scream. I just started moving. By the next morning, hotel security was knocking on their door and I was already booking flights. Picture this. I am standing in the lobby of the Fontainebleau Miami Beach, that big curved hotel right on the ocean in Florida, with its shiny marble floors and the sound of waves crashing outside the glass doors. It is one of those places where people come for the glamour, the pools that look like something out of a magazine, and the nightlife that keeps going until dawn. I picked it because Miami has that vibrant energy, with its mix of Latin culture, street art in Wynwood, and fresh seafood spots everywhere. We are from Chicago, where winters drag on, so a beach trip felt like a good way to celebrate. I run a small marketing firm from home, in a cozy office I set up in our basement in the suburbs, with bookshelves full of strategy guides and a window looking out at the backyard maple tree. My husband Marcus and I hit a milestone last year. Our business brought in about $500,000 in revenue, mostly from helping local restaurants with social media campaigns. It was not easy, with late nights and client calls, but it meant I could afford this vacation. I covered everything. The flights from Chicago for all 8 of us, which came to around $1,600 for round-trip tickets, and the hotel for 7 nights. I booked 4 standard rooms at the Fontainebleau, averaging about $361 per night each, plus the resort fee of $53 a day per room for things like Wi-Fi and beach access. It added up to roughly $7,000 total, but I thought it was worth it to bring everyone together, maybe smooth over some old family tensions. There they were, my mom, my dad, my sister Jenna, and her 2 kids, Ethan and Chloe, strolling in like they owned the place. All smiles and carrying those colorful beach bags you see in tourist shops. Mom was wearing her usual floral sundress, the one she buys every summer from the mall back home. Dad had his baseball cap on, the one with the faded Chicago Cubs logo he has had forever. Jenna looked tired but put together, her hair in a ponytail, probably from chasing the kids around the airport. Ethan, 13, was fiddling with his phone, and Chloe, 15, was chewing gum and scrolling through something. But my daughter, Lily, 18, was not with them. I scanned the lobby again, past the check-in desk with its fresh flower arrangements, and the concierge helping some guests with dinner reservations. Maybe she stopped at the gift shop for a bottle of water or something. Nothing. My husband, Marcus, nudged me gently on the arm. He is the steady one, always has been, with his quiet way of noticing things before they blow up. He works with me in the business, handling the tech side from his desk in the corner of our home office, surrounded by monitors and cables that he organizes like a puzzle. He noticed it too, the missing piece in this group. "Where is Lily?" I asked, trying to keep my voice even, though it came out a bit sharper than I wanted. I was going for casual, but inside, a little wave of worry was already building. Dad did not even break his stride as he walked toward the check-in desk. "She is probably on the next flight," he said, like it was no big deal. "The next flight," I repeated, glancing at Marcus. Mom waved her hand dismissively, her silver bracelets jingling the way they always do when she is brushing something off. "She lost her ID during the layover," she said. "Some mix-up at the airport? She is handling it." Something tightened in my chest, that instinctive pull you get when things do not add up, even if your brain has not caught on yet. "She lost it during the layover?" I asked, forcing my tone to stay calm. "In Atlanta?" There was a pause. One of those moments where the air feels heavy, and my stomach dipped a little. "Not quite," Dad replied, adjusting his cap. Marcus turned to them fully now. "What does that mean, not quite?" he asked, his voice firm but not raised. "Oh, well," Mom said with a shrug, like she was talking about the weather. "Our original flight got canceled, but your dad found a better option. 2 layovers and we saved some money. The airline did not even mention it at first, but he pushed for it." They did not have it listed online, Dad added, sounding pleased with himself. New Orleans was faster and cheaper, a real win. Marcus blinked. New Orleans? I turned to face them completely. You rerouted through New Orleans? Dad shrugged again. Plenty of open seats, and they gave us vouchers for the trouble. We ended up ahead. The vouchers were about $100 each, he said, as if that explained everything. And where exactly did she lose the ID? I asked, though a part of me was starting to piece it together, and I did not like the picture. In New Orleans, he replied plainly. You are joking, I said, looking from one face to the next, searching for any sign that this was some bad attempt at humor. Nothing. I said it again, right? Jenna, my sister, looked bored, checking her nails. Chloe was already lost in her phone, probably on some social media app. Ethan nudged her and chuckled. You should have seen her when she figured it out, he said. It was priceless. Chloe laughed softly. She flipped out, full panic mode. I thought she might faint or something. I wish I had recorded it, Ethan added. She looked like those people on prank videos. I stared at them, not sure what hit me harder. Their words or how casually they said them, like they were recounting a funny story from dinner. It felt wrong, but there was also this flicker of doubt in me, wondering if I was overreacting already. You left her? I said, my voice barely above a whisper. You actually left her behind. Mom folded her arms across her chest. We did not leave her. She lost her ID. She is 18, Dad said matter-of-factly. She is not a little kid anymore. Jenna rolled her eyes. You are making this way bigger than it is. She said she would deal with it. So let me make sure I have this right, I said slowly, trying to keep my thoughts straight. My daughter lost her ID in New Orleans, a city that still has a reputation for high crime even if things have improved lately. 53 murders so far this year, the lowest in decades, but still not a place you want to be stuck alone. And you all just got on the plane without her. She is smart, Mom said. You have always said that. Marcus stepped forward then. His voice was calm, but I could see the tension in his shoulders, the way he gets when he is holding back. Why did not one of you stay with her? Just one adult could have waited and caught a later flight. Dad looked honestly puzzled. We are here now. What else could we have done? You were supposed to avoid routing through a high-risk spot in the first place, Marcus said. You were supposed to let us know. We did not want to cause drama, Jenna muttered under her breath. And now you have it, I replied, sharper than I meant. I pulled out my phone and dialed Lily's number. Straight to voicemail. Marcus tried too. Same thing. Maybe her phone died, Mom suggested helpfully. We told her to stay near the check-in desk. Which desk? I asked. The one at the airport where you left her. No one said anything. You are always acting like she cannot manage without you, Jenna added, with a hint of something in her voice. Maybe resentment, or her own frustration from raising 2 kids alone after her divorce last year. She works part-time at a coffee shop back home, saving for her own place, and I know she feels the pressure sometimes. Marcus let out a quiet breath, but it felt loud in the moment. She is alone in New Orleans with no ID, no local contacts, and you thought she could just figure it out. Chloe finally looked up from her phone. She said she did not want to go through New Orleans anyway. She kept talking about how unsafe it was, especially for women, and we should not reroute there. Ethan snorted. She was acting like a baby. Maybe she should just stay. She would fit in better. I blinked. What did you just say? He looked up, still grinning, but there was a touch of uncertainty now, like he knew he had crossed a line but was not sure how to backtrack. I mean, her dad's black, right? So she fits in more than we do. Marcus's arm tensed beside me. Jenna stepped in quickly. He did not mean it that way. I did not say anything bad, Ethan said, his voice defensive, perhaps echoing things he had heard from friends or online. I stared at the boy, then at Jenna, then at my parents, and something shifted inside me. Not a big break, more like a quiet ache that had been there for years, finally making itself known. It hurt, but part of me felt relieved to acknowledge it. I turned to Marcus. "We are fixing this," I said. My voice held steady. He nodded once, already on his phone looking up flights. Mom called after us as we walked away. "You do not have to make a scene." But I was not making a scene. Not yet. That would come later. I have spent my whole life trying to earn basic respect from people who always attach strings to it. Growing up in our old house in the Chicago suburbs, a 2-story place with a creaky wooden porch and a kitchen that always smelled like Mom's baking, things were never even. Jenna could spill paint all over the carpet during one of her art phases, and Mom would just say she was creative, helping her clean it up with a smile. But if I forgot to fold the laundry once, I was lazy and ungrateful. Dad worked long hours at his job in a warehouse downtown, loading trucks, and he would come home tired, expecting peace. But Jenna's messes were always excused because she was the younger one, the fun one. It carried into adulthood. Jenna got divorced a couple years ago, and it was tough on her. I get that. She lives in a small apartment now, in a building near the lake, with peeling paint on the walls and neighbors who play music too loud. She picks up shifts at a local diner, serving coffee and burgers, trying to make ends meet for Ethan and Chloe. I helped her out sometimes, covering their cell phone bills. About $50 a month each, because family does that, right? And Mom and Dad, they are retired now, living off Dad's pension and Social Security in their condo, a simple place with a view of the park. They whisper that parenting is hard whenever Jenna snaps at the kids or lets them stay up late, but with me it was different. When Lily was little, say 4 years old, she cried at a birthday party because she did not want to hit the piñata. It felt mean to her. Dad said she was too sensitive, that I needed to toughen her up. Cannot baby her forever, he told me, while he babied Jenna's kids through everything. Lily grew into this amazing kid, though. She is in her room at home a lot, surrounded by her posters of space and books on coding, working on projects for school. She won a coding competition at 16, got a scholarship to NYU worth about $50,000 a year, covering tuition and some living costs because of her grades and essays. But every time she achieved something, the family would shift the focus. "That is great," Mom said once after Lily's science fair win. "But you should try a sport too, like volleyball, like Chloe does." Chloe plays volleyball on her school team, and they framed her participation certificate like it was an Olympic medal. Volleyball when Lily is 5'2" with mild asthma that flares up in humid weather. Or the classic, being smart is good, but being well-rounded is better, from the same people who praised Ethan's stick figure drawings as masterpieces. They always said Lily was mature for her age, but it came with expectations. She had to laugh off comments about her curly hair being too distracting in family photos or her voice being too opinionated during dinners. Marcus used to say we might be reading too much into it, that it was just old-fashioned thinking, not intentional hurt. He is optimistic like that, always seeing the best in people, even when it frustrates me. I held on to that for years because admitting the alternative, that there was real bias there, maybe tied to Lily's mixed heritage, felt too painful. Part of me still wonders if I am too sensitive about it, but then moments like this make it clear. That is why I paid for this vacation. It was my idea, a way to mark our business success and, I hoped, build some bridges. Our home office in the basement, with its humming computers and stacks of client files, had been buzzing with activity. Hitting that revenue mark meant stability, maybe even hiring help soon. So I thought, why not share it? Book the flights, the rooms at the Fontainebleau with its ocean views and spa that smells like eucalyptus. Stupidly, I thought it could change things. After Lily did not show up at the hotel, I asked them to check their bags just in case. Maybe her ID slipped into someone's luggage during security or got stuck in a pocket by accident. Jenna rolled her eyes. "You think we hid it?" "No," I said carefully. "But if there is even a small chance it got mixed up, it is worth looking." They hesitated at first, looking offended. Dad said something like, We are not the bad guys here. But I kept pushing, and things got weird. Ethan, Jenna's 13-year-old, suddenly could not meet my eyes. He's a good kid most times, loves video games, and talks about becoming a streamer one day. But he has this impulsive streak, probably from hanging out with rowdy friends at school. Chloe looked like she was fighting a smile, her braces glinting under the lobby lights. Then Jenna said, "It was too late anyway. What were we supposed to do?" I turned to her. "What?" She paused, like she had said too much. I mean, nothing. Dad jumped in. "The point is, we did not plan this." Marcus moved closer. "What do you mean by too late?" No one answered, so I said it out loud. "You found her ID." The silence was thick, my heart pounding in my ears. You found it after she could not board. Still nothing. Chloe leaned back against a lobby chair like she was watching TV. Ethan looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. It was Ethan who cracked first. "I just hid it as a joke," he muttered, shuffling his feet. "She was being annoying, kept saying New Orleans was dangerous and we might get robbed or something. I figured it would make her stop." My mouth felt dry. "She told you it was not safe?" "Yeah," he nodded. "She kept pulling up articles on her phone, warning us. It was bugging everyone like, okay, we get it. It is not Disney World." I looked at my parents. "And you all knew this?" Mom waved her hand, but there was a flicker in her eyes, maybe guilt or defensiveness. "We thought she was exaggerating, like she does sometimes." "She is not exaggerating," Marcus said, his voice tight. "She is careful. She is smart. She is 18 and you left her in New Orleans without her ID. And you are calling her dramatic?" "She could have gone to the police," Dad said flatly. "There is no easy fix for that in an airport," I snapped. "She probably realized that after you left." Jenna rolled her eyes again, but I saw her glance at Ethan with a mix of annoyance and protectiveness. She knows he acts out when he is stressed, like during her divorce. She's legally an adult. What were we supposed to do, scrap the whole trip because she was being difficult? Marcus stared at her. Yes. Yes, that is exactly what you do." More silence. Then Ethan added, as if trying to lighten things. "You should have seen her face when she realized. It was funny." Chloe nodded. She looked like she was going to cry. Marcus stepped between me and them, like he thought I might need holding back. My hands were clenched, nails digging in, every part of me wanting to say something harsh, but I held it. "She is not dramatic," I said quietly. "You are just thoughtless." Then I walked away because staying would have meant losing control, and I did not want that. They think this is over, that she will be fine, that it was just a mishap. But it was not. It was careless, and they are going to learn from it. The moment we confirmed Lily's ID was in Jenna's bag, I stopped listening to their excuses. Not because I was not shocked. I was, deeply, but because my mind had already shifted to what needed to be done next. Marcus was still looking at the bag, his face a mix of disbelief and quiet anger, the kind he shows when he is processing something unfair. "They found it before boarding," he said softly. "They knew she did not have it, and they left her anyway." I did not respond. I just turned and headed straight back to our hotel suite, the one with the balcony overlooking the Atlantic, where the sound of seagulls mixed with distant music from the beach bars. I opened my laptop on the small desk by the window, the screen reflecting the late afternoon sun, and logged into the airline website, searching for flights to New Orleans. There was one leaving in about 4 hours from Miami International Airport. It was not ideal. New Orleans still carries that weight of past hurricanes and crime headlines, even if the numbers have improved, with violent crime down 20% from last year. But leaving our daughter there overnight, alone in the terminal with no ID, felt far worse. Marcus leaned over my shoulder, his hand resting lightly on my back. "You stay here," he said. "I will go." He was right. New Orleans might not be the safest spot for a young black woman by herself, but it also was not great for me to rush in without thinking. especially if we needed someone to handle things back here. We booked the ticket right then. One way for him at about $80. A last-minute deal through an app like Kayak, and 2 return tickets for the next morning, around $200 total, figuring he would bring Lily back with him. The clock was ticking. He had to get to the airport soon for check-in, and we still had not heard from her. I tried her phone again and again, the calls going to voicemail each time, her cheerful recorded message about being busy with schoolwork making my worry spike. Signal unavailable, or maybe her battery was low. I do not know why I kept dialing, as if persistence would make it connect. But on the 9th attempt, while the airline confirmation page was loading, it rang. Then again. "Mom!" Her voice came through, shaky and small, like she was trying hard to sound okay. "Lily, oh my goodness, are you all right?" I asked, gripping the phone tighter. A pause, then a breath that sounded uneven. "I have been trying to call," she said. Nothing was working. The Wi-Fi here is spotty, and my SIM card will not connect properly. I thought my phone was broken. No, it is fine now," I said quickly. "We found your ID. I will explain later. The key thing is, Dad is coming tonight. He is flying out soon, bringing it with him." There was a quiet moment on her end. "You found it." I closed my eyes, leaning against the desk chair. "Yes, in Jenna's bag." Another silence, then a sound I will not forget, a soft, fractured exhale, like disappointment and hurt had tangled up in her throat. "It was not lost," she said, her words careful. "I knew it. I told them I had it. I told them not to reroute through New Orleans." "I know," I said. "I believe you." She did not cry, not outright, but her voice wavered when she continued. "They said I was being dramatic, that I watched too much news or something, that airports are airports. But the staff there seemed uneasy about us even being on that flight. It was not a standard rebooking at first. Grandpa argued until they offered it." "Of course he did," I muttered, picturing Dad at the counter, his stubborn streak that usually helps in negotiations, but not here. I tried to warn them it was not safe, but they laughed it off. Then Ethan told me I was scaring everyone and to go cool down. After that, I could not find my ID. I leaned back in the chair, my free hand pressing against the cool wood of the desk. "You are still in the airport, though?" "Yes," she said, "in the terminal. They tried to make me leave earlier, but I acted like I was waiting for family and found a spot near a food court, sitting at one of those metal tables with sticky surfaces from spilled sodas. It is noisy and kind of overwhelming, with announcements blaring every few minutes and people rushing by. Some guy asked if I was okay, if I needed help, but it felt off, like he was looking for something in return. My stomach twisted at that. Another one offered to sort it out if I owed him a favor. That did it. I pulled the laptop closer, double-checking the flight details while Marcus packed in the bedroom, the zipper of his suitcase echoing softly. "Dad is on his way, Lily. Just hold on a bit longer. He will be there by morning. Stay where you are. Do not show you are alone. Do not engage with anyone else. You have handled this so well." There was a pause. "Can you tell him to hurry?" I nodded, though she could not see. "He is already packing." After we hung up, I sat there for a few seconds, staring at the hotel's generic artwork on the wall, an abstract painting of waves that suddenly seemed too calm. The mini fridge hummed in the corner, and my ears buzzed from the buildup of anger and relief mixed together. It was confusing, part of me furious, another part guilty for not seeing this coming sooner. Then I opened the hotel reservation portal and started clicking. First, our suite remained booked. Then Jenna's room, my parents' rooms, the whole family block I had reserved at full price because I thought it would help us bond. Canceled them all. According to the Fontainebleau's policy, since I was the one who booked and we were within the 48-hour window for changes, it was straightforward. No fees, just a confirmation email. They could sort it out themselves. Surely they would find a clever way like Dad always does with his deals. Marcus came out of the bathroom, his toiletry bag in hand. "Did she sound okay?" he asked, setting it down on the bed. "She's holding up, but scared," I replied. "Of course she is," he said, zipping his suitcase. Then he glanced at my screen. "What are you doing?" "Taking back what I gave," I said, not looking up. He gave a small smile, tight but understanding. "Need any help?" I shook my head. "No, I have it." By the time he closed his bag and kissed my forehead goodbye, I had also pulled up the return flight portal. Let us see how resourceful they truly were, because if they could leave my daughter stranded in New Orleans, they could figure out their way home from Miami on their own, maybe with a budget airline in basic economy, no extras. And if that sounds harsh, well, think about your 18-year-old alone in a busy terminal, begging for Wi-Fi scraps while her cousins joke about her panic. Then tell me about harsh, because we were not done yet. They were supposed to be back that evening, Marcus and Lily. My heart had been racing on and off since he boarded the plane, a mix of anxiety and that strange calm that comes when you are in motion. I spent the night tracking the flight on my phone, refreshing the app every few minutes until my eyes stung. Our suite felt too quiet without them. The balcony doors opened to the humid Miami air, carrying in the salty breeze and faint salsa music from somewhere down the beach. I did not sleep much, just lay there on the king-sized bed, staring at the ceiling fan, spinning lazily, my mind flipping between anger at my family and worry for Lily. Part of me felt bad for canceling their rooms so abruptly, wondering if it was too much. But then I would remember her voice on the phone, and the guilt would fade. By morning, I was up early, running on coffee from the in-room machine, the kind that tastes a bit burnt but does the job. That is when I heard the knocking, not soft but insistent, echoing down the tiled hallway. It was coming from a couple doors away, where my family's rooms were. I stepped into the hall in my robe, the carpet soft under my feet, just in time to catch a raised voice saying, "You cannot do this. We have children here." A security guard, polite but firm, replied, "Sir, the booking was canceled by the primary guest. Checkout was at 11, and it is past that now. If you do not leave, we will have to involve the local police." Another thud, maybe a door slamming, then a child's whine, probably Ethan, who gets cranky when things go wrong. Then Mom's voice, sharp and indignant, calling it a ridiculous mistake, demanding to speak to a manager. I slipped back into my room and closed the door softly, not to shut it out completely, but to keep myself from reacting. There was a small part of me that wanted to laugh, but mostly it was just a dull satisfaction, like finally standing up after years of bending. They had tried to talk to me the night before, Dad knocking on my door with that authoritative rap he uses, Jenna right behind him, arms crossed. Mom had her disappointed face on, the one she pulls when she thinks I am being unreasonable. I opened the door just enough at first, then wider, so I could see them clearly under the hallway lights. "You canceled the rooms," Mom said, her tone accusatory, "without warning us." "I thought the front desk could handle telling you," I replied evenly. Jenna's face twisted a bit. "That is low, even for you." "Low," I echoed. "Low is rerouting through New Orleans to save a few bucks, about $50 to $100 per person on those tickets, from what Dad bragged, and leaving my daughter there when she could not board. She lost her ID," Dad snapped, his cap pushed back on his head. "She did not lose it," I said flatly. "Ethan took it. You found it, and you said nothing." "So no, I'm not funding your stay anymore. You are punishing everyone," Mom said, stepping closer, her bracelets jingling again. "You punished yourselves," I replied. "All I did was stop paying." "We have the kids," she pressed. "Chloe is upset. Ethan is confused. Are you going to make us find another hotel?" "I am not stopping you from doing that," I said. "Pay for your own rooms if you want to stay." Jenna's expression hardened, but there was a hint of worry there, too. She knows money is tight for her, with her diner job not covering extras like this. A last-minute hotel in Miami during peak season could run $150 a night or more for something basic. "So that is it," she said. "One slip up and we are out. One slip up." I almost smiled, but it was not funny. You detoured my daughter through a city with a high crime rate to cut costs, hid that your son took her ID, left her behind, then mocked her for being scared. Yes, that is it. They stood there, looking surprised, like they expected me to give in as usual. Instead, I said, "This talk is done," and closed the door. Through the walls, I heard more arguing with the manager about policy, Dad raising his voice about a possible lawsuit. I had to hold back a chuckle. It was empty talk. Under Florida law, since I booked the rooms and canceled within the allowed time, the hotel was just following their rules. No breach of contract on our end, no grounds for a suit. It was all bluster. Eventually, the sounds died down. Later, I checked the family chat. A message from Chloe. "This new place is awful. No pool. Can we come back?" I turned off notifications. They tried telling the story to other relatives, too. "Mom said it was a mix-up," one aunt texted me. "What really happened? Is Lily okay?" I sent the same reply each time. They rerouted Lily through New Orleans to save money. Ethan hid her ID. She got stuck. They left her. Plain facts, no extras. Most went quiet. One cousin just said, "Oh," and that was it. Saying it straight makes it hit different. Marcus and Lily arrived around 8 that evening. I met them in the lobby, the same shiny marble floor now lit by evening lights, with guests heading out for dinner at nearby spots like Joe's Stone Crab, famous for its fresh seafood and long waits. Lily looked worn out, her hair a bit messy from travel, but her eyes brightened when she saw me. She has always been resilient like that, even if it hides the softer parts. I hugged her tight, smelling the airport on her clothes, that mix of stale air and pretzels. "Do we have to go anywhere else?" she whispered. "No," I told her. "We are staying put." We added 3 more nights to our stay, just the 3 of us, costing about $1,500 with our loyalty points from past trips knocking off some of it. Practical, the way Americans like to use rewards programs for vacations. We had fresh ceviche by the ocean, swam in the clear pools, and Lily spent afternoons reading her fantasy novels under an umbrella, her asthma inhaler nearby just in case the humidity kicked up. Marcus would squeeze my hand whenever a new message buzzed in, but I did not answer any. When we got home to our house in the suburbs, with its familiar backyard and the basement office waiting, I stopped all the financial help. No announcement, just quiet changes. I canceled the extra lines on our phone plan that covered Jenna's family, saving us about $150 a month. We had added them years ago when she was struggling post-divorce. When tax time came and Mom asked if we were still helping with their car insurance, about $200 monthly that I had been chipping in for, I simply said no. I told Marcus I still felt a twinge of guilt sometimes, like maybe I had been too hard. He shook his head. Guilt is just the remnant of boundaries you should have set earlier. And he was right. I do not know what irked them more, that I finally pushed back or that I did it without yelling. But here is the thing. I did not need to raise my voice. I just acted, and for the first time, I do not feel like the outsider in my own family. I feel at peace.